Let's see what cars went from looking ugly to looking really good. This is Farts to Arts, and first up we have the Mercedes-Benz A-class. The first Mercedes-Benz A-class was actually released in 1997, and it did not look good. It's really boxy and not pretty at all, at least not in my opinion, but it does seem practical. Funny thing is that this car had issues with rolling when turning at high speeds, so Mercedes had to actually recall over 2,000 cars. Wikipedia states that Daimler, the parent company of Mercedes, actually lost $1,400 for every vehicle produced, which is just hilarious. The second generation came out in 2004, and it looks better than the first gen, but it was still some sort of a bubble shape and not really something that I would want to think of when I think of Mercedes-Benz. But the turn to arts was thankfully in 2013. The third gen looked totally different. It's not a tall bubble anymore, but rather a sporty hatchback, and I really liked it when it was released. It doesn't seem as spacious as some of its rivals, but it does fit the Mercedes brand. The AMG A45 looked insane with the big spoiler and the rear diffuser, and it even pushed the 381 horsepower. Definitely art from Mercedes. The latest generation is a 2018 upgrade from the previous model. As all the trends go in the car industry, it's a bit sharper and more aggressive, and I like it, but what's even more noticeable is the upgraded interior, which looks and feels way better now. So, good job to Mercedes for actually turning that thing into a beautiful A-class. Next up is Kia Sportage. The first one was released in 1993, and it's interesting. The front actually looks okay to me, especially if it has this steel bumper or guard installed. I can see why someone would like this in 1995, but the rear is just nah, I don't like it at all. What I always find interesting in these old cars is that they had 4-speed automatic transmissions, and I would love to drive one to see how it works. Second generation, released in 2004, shares a lot of similarities with Hyundai Tucson from that time. It's big and it looks better than the first gen, but I just feel like the SUVs of that time were unnecessarily big. What I hate the most about it is that rear window behind the C-pillar. It just doesn't seem like it fits the size with other windows. This car was actually one of the most reliable cars of that time, and it's also very cheap to insure, so if you like the looks, it's a good catch. The third generation from 2010 does not look good. I remember liking them when they were released, but looking back at it now, it almost feels like I'd rather take the second gen. The fourth generation definitely looks better from behind, but the front end somehow got worse. Way worse. The headlights are kind of on top of the hood, the grille looks small and kind of like a toy, and I just don't like it at all. And I think that some designers actually agree with me, because this is the facelifted Chinese version. See that front end? Much better, but not as good as the fifth generation from 2021. It seems like Kia changed the whole aesthetic when they changed their logo, and I'm a big fan. Big front grille, new logo, sporty air vents, which are probably fake, sharp headlights, and yes, I love it. The overall shape and sense of the car from the side also looks much better now that the car is longer, and the rear of the car is unique and definitely a new Kia. So, good job to Kia for turning this into this. The last one for this round is the BMW 7 Series. This one actually went from art to fart and back to art. The first gen from 1977 is just badass. Nothing else to say here than it looks good from every angle, and it's pretty similar to the 6 Series from that time. The same actually goes for the second and the third generation. The second one still had the split headlights, but the third didn't, and they both offered V8s and V12s along the classic inline-6 engines. But then comes the fourth in 2001, and let's say that it didn't carry on the good-looking legacy. The front headlights had this funny-looking bottom curve design that just made it seem like a nice friendly car instead of a luxury sedan, and the rear? Let's call it an experiment. Even though these taillights are all over the place, they did already feature the full width elements, which everyone uses today, so maybe BMW was already ahead of their time. BMW fixed the lights with the facelift in 2005, and that car actually looks like a luxury sedan. The fifth generation wasn't that much different, and you can definitely see the design moving towards today's standards, and most commonly on the road you can see the sixth generation. I love the look of the sixth gen. It looks like a proper luxury sedan, and the facelifted version features really sharp headlights, huge kidney grille, and the full LED strip for taillights. I always stare at them when one of those passes me on a highway, especially at night. Now there's a 2022 generation of the 7 Series, and that car is something to look at. But I want you to tell me whether you like it or not. Let me know your thoughts about these cars in the comments below, and subscribe if you haven't already to see more car videos like this one.